Rain hammered against the windows of the tiny radio station on the edge of the forest outside Ashland. The storm had already knocked out power in half the town, but inside the old building, emergency lights flickered dimly red across the walls. Ethan Cole adjusted his headphones and sighed. "Midnight horror stories," he muttered. Perfect timing. He had only taken the night shift job because nobody else wanted it. The station, WKCR 96.6 FM, was dying. Most people streamed music now. Nobody listened to local radio anymore. But tonight felt strange. The phones had been silent for hours. No music requests, no prank calls, nothing. Only the sound of rain and static. Ethan leaned toward the microphone. "Good evening, night listeners. This is Ethan Cole with another late-night broadcast. If you're awake during this storm, stay safe out there." Static crackled loudly in his headset. Then a voice whispered, "Don't stop the broadcast." Ethan froze. The voice had not come from outside. It came through the station equipment. He pulled off the headphones quickly and looked around the empty room. Nobody. Only darkness. A sudden burst of static exploded from the speakers again. Then silence. Ethan swallowed nervously and forced himself to laugh. Probably interference, but deep down he knew it wasn't. He checked the station logs to distract himself. That's when he noticed something odd. At exactly 1:13 a.m. every night for the past 7 days, an unknown signal had interrupted the broadcast for 13 seconds. No explanation, no source. And tonight, it was almost 1:13. The digital clock on the wall ticked forward. 1:12 a.m. The storm outside grew louder. Thunder shook the building. Ethan stared at the control board as static slowly began crawling across the sound levels. Then every light inside the station turned off. Darkness swallowed the room. Only the emergency exit sign glowed faint red behind him. The speakers hissed violently, and a woman began crying. Soft at first, then louder, closer. Ethan's heart pounded. "Hello?" he whispered. The crying stopped instantly. A cold voice replaced it. "He found us!" The speakers screeched. Suddenly, the station computer switched on by itself. A file appeared on the screen. Playback_13.mp3. Ethan hesitated, then clicked it. At first there was only static, then came an old recording. A man speaking nervously. "If anyone hears this, do not answer the door at 1:13 a.m. Whatever is outside is not human." A loud banging interrupted the recording. Boom, boom, boom. The man screamed, then silence. Ethan's breathing became shallow. That recording sounded real, too real. Before he could process it, the station phone rang. The sound nearly made him jump out of his chair. He stared at the blinking light. Unknown caller. After a long moment, he answered. "Hello?" Static. Then a raspy whisper. "It knows you're listening." The line went dead. At that exact moment, knock, knock, knock. Someone was at the station door. Ethan slowly turned toward the hallway. Another knock echoed through the building. Slow, heavy, knock, knock, knock. He grabbed a flashlight and stepped into the dark hallway. The old wooden floor creaked beneath his feet. The knocking stopped. Rainwater dripped somewhere in the darkness. Ethan aimed the flashlight toward the front entrance. Nobody was there, but the door was slightly open. Cold wind blew inside. He knew he had locked it earlier. Then he noticed something on the floor. Mud footprints. Large footprints. Too large to belong to a normal person. They led deeper into the station, toward the basement. Ethan's chest tightened. Nobody ever used the basement. The previous station owner had sealed it years ago after an accident. At least, that's what people said. Another sound echoed below him. A low metallic scraping noise. Something moving. Against every instinct telling him to run, Ethan followed the footprints downstairs. The basement door creaked open slowly. The smell hit him first. Rotting wood. And something worse. The flashlight beam shook in his hands as he descended the stairs. The basement was filled with old broadcasting equipment covered in dust, and in the center of the room sat an ancient radio transmitter, still active. Static hissed from it softly. Then Ethan saw the walls, covered in messages, written in black paint. "Do not stop the signal, it hears the silence, 1:13 a.m. Ethan stepped backward in horror. Suddenly, the transmitter crackled alive. A distorted voice growled through the speaker. "Look behind you!" Ethan turned slowly. A tall figure stood at the top of the basement stairs, at least 7 feet tall. Its body looked wrong, too thin, too long. Its skin stretched tightly across its face like dried paper, and where its eyes should have been, there was only darkness. The creature tilted its head unnaturally, then smiled, a smile far too wide for a human face. Ethan stumbled backward. The flashlight dropped from his hand and rolled across the floor. The creature began descending the stairs slowly, one step at a time. Crack! Its joints snapped with every movement. Ethan ran. He sprinted through the basement, searching desperately for another exit. Behind him, footsteps echoed calmly, not chasing, walking, as if it already knew he couldn't escape. The transmitter suddenly blasted static so loudly the walls vibrated. Then dozens of voices screamed together from the speakers. Ethan covered his ears. The lights overhead exploded. Darkness consumed the basement. Only the faint red glow from the transmitter remained. And in that red light, the creature was gone. Silence. Ethan's breathing shook violently. Then he felt warm breath against his neck. A whisper crawled into his ear. "You stopped listening." Everything went black. The next morning, police arrived after hearing the station broadcasting static all night long. The front door stood wide open. Rain had flooded half the building, but Ethan Cole was gone. No blood, no signs of struggle. Only one thing remained inside the studio. A fresh recording saved onto the station computer. The file name read playback_14.mp3. Police listened to it once. According to reports, every officer who heard the recording resigned within the week. The audio itself was never released publicly, but one rumor survived. At the very end of the recording, after the screaming, after the static, a terrified voice whispered, "He's in your house now." And ever since that night, listeners across the country claim that sometimes, during storms, at exactly 1:13 a.m., if you tune into an empty radio frequency, you can still hear Ethan begging for help beneath the static.